It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers. Let's start with our prospect as I pull up my content here. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Prospect on the rise. We're going down to the Houston area, to Conroe, to talk about their soon-to-be senior cornerback, Devondre McGee. He picked up a big offer this week from Texas A&M. He'd already had offers from places like Sam Houston, Texas State, and SMU. But he had an offer also from the SEC and Ole Miss. But you want to talk about the big, heavy-hitting in-state offer from A&M. Feels like a big one for Devondre McGee, and one would have to imagine that this might start another flurry for him.
Yeah, I really like this offer. A guy who has good intangibles and athleticism outside of the pads, and then you pop on the tape and he's a good player. I got to think that someone from Conroe, that's got to be a Texas A&M friendly zone.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like that's
North
gotta be
Houston.
Yes.
So win in North Houston.
I got to think that Texas A&M with that offer has put themselves in a good spot to pick up Devondre McGee by the time it's all settled. He was a guy who, his size and stuff is legit. He was a guy who we had out at the Next Level Athlete, Texas Top 100 back in January. Looked really good out there. And Conroe, to me, is a school that's really on the rise, right? Like they've got a lot of really good players out there, especially in the class of 2024. There's a few guys I like besides McGee. They have Isaiah Pruitt, who started to pick up some attention. Mitch Melton, a hard-nosed, blue-collar linebacker that I really like. He's already a DCTF 3-star. And that area just in general of the state, I would say, is turning into like one of the prospect hot zones, because Oak Ridge is absolutely loaded. Conroe's loaded. There's a lot of reason why, if you're a college coach, that this part of the state would interest you tremendously. But congrats to Devondre McGee, who has had a tremendous spring evaluation period. You routed off some of his offers, but I think this is the biggest one so far. Texas A&M up in College Station getting in the mix for Devondre McGee.
Yeah, it's probably not the last we're going to hear about this young man. Picking up an offer from A&M usually sets off another round of offers, so keep an eye on Devondre McGee out at Conroe. Let's roll on to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week, I think I'm reading this right. Our commit of the week happened in this very room.
Nice.
Tobias Steps, our friend from Lancaster, the soon-to-be senior tackle, pulled the trigger and committed to TCU with Mallory Hartley watching on as he committed to TCU over places like Texas Tech, UTSA, SMU, and Texas State. He committed live during Texas Football Today here on Friday. We were so thrilled to have him and his family in. It was a big deal, of course. Big applause there from Mallory Hartley. She was very excited. But Tobias Steps commits to TCU. We talked about it on our show on Friday. But again, just a really nice pickup for TCU as they continue a little bit of momentum on the recruiting trail.
Very high ceiling prospect. Long, rangy, athletic. His best football days are still in front of him. And there's plenty of Tobias Steps content. You can go check it out. We have an extremely long video where we talk about his strengths, break down and assess what he brings to the table. We also got to catch up with HornFrogBlitz.com publisher Jeremy Clark, who made a stop into the studios for that. So if you're a big TCU fan, you should head over to texasfootball.com/recruiting. Check out all the Tobias Steps content. And this just kind of adds onto a TCU class in 2024 that's really starting to come together. There's a couple of names that jump out to me. I really like the upside of Travis Jackson, a defensive end from Tyler Legacy, 6'4", 230 pounds, extremely athletic. Another one of these guys who has an extremely high ceiling. And Hoss Haney at Aledo. I struggled to find a way to explain Hoss's game, because he's an athletic quarterback, but he's got a pretty good arm. You know what I mean? He's just like he is a difference maker. He's a different breed, I guess is the way to say it.
It hasn't worked out yet for him, but when I watch Hoss Haney, I think a lot about Haynes King.
Okay.
I think a lot about Haynes King. He's like a more, like, I don't want to say he pulls the trigger to run more. Like they do more designed runs with him in the Aledo offense.
Very explosive.
Very explosive in that regard. So he's maybe a little bit more of an explosive Haynes King. But like people, I mean, if you go watch Haynes King's high school tape, like he was an incredible athlete back there and could launch a ball. That's like the maybe the comp I make. But
I'm struggling to like really. Chandler Morris, maybe, too. You know what I mean? Chandler Morris-esque. But I think that Haney is a bit more athletic.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Chandler was a lot of
he's
fun.
mobile.
Chandler was a lot of fun to watch.
I would say he's a bit more mobile.
Yeah, and with that,
It would like a consistently mobile. I feel like Haynes like really chose his option to be mobile.
Yes.
Haas is like he
like
can scramble.
designed runs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They call him Hoss the Boss. But I
Yeah.
think
His name's Haas. Don't give him a nickname.
they
Like her last name's Pickle. She doesn't need another nickname.
I think the
Haas pickle.
I think the difference between
Not calling you Haas.
I think the difference between Hoss Haney and the other guys that we're talking about it too is if he had to play wide receiver, he could play it.
Yeah.
I don't think Haynes King or Chandler Morris
Yeah,
are going
I
to
would
play could play wide receiver. I don't think Hoss is going to play wide
Yeah,
receiver.
there's a certain element
But
of
he
like
could.
there is a certain element of Hoss Haney being. This is going to sound like, and we are talking about Tobias Steps, but we talked a lot on Friday, so forgive us. There is a certain element of Hoss Haney being an athlete who happens to play quarterback. It just so happens that he's also just really good at playing quarterback. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like so that's kind of where we're at with it. Is like by saying he's an athlete playing quarterback, that feels like an insult because he really is.
And some
such a
guys
talented
look at it as
Yeah.
an insult too. You're like, I'm not an athlete. I'm a quarterback,
yeah.
which I get that.
Yeah,
but
I don't mean that in an insulting way. He's just like, but he's got that athleticism that if they stuck him at safety or at wide receiver, like he'd be really good there too.
he's a great athlete who's also a great quarterback.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and Steps rounding out that 4-man class right now. They have 4 commitments.
Yeah.
Joining Ryan Hughes, the big 6'6", 295, 300-pound offensive tackle from down at the Woodlands. So you really got a variance between those two offensive line commits because Tobias is, that rangy, quick-footed guy, and Hughes is like an absolute monster up front who likes to, pile drive dudes into the dirt. Not that Tobias wouldn't do that, but, I just see them complementing each other so well in this TCU cycle.
I know Steps' cousin Matt Stepp was really fired up about the commitment to TCU.
There's an extra E.
And an S. Also,
Step papa.
we should just say that if you thought that what Tobias Steps did in our studio was cool, that could be you,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Get in touch with Powers. Slide into his DMs on Twitter or email him greg.powers@texasfootball.com. If you are a prospect looking to commit, our studio is available to you. I know Tobias Steps and his family were pretty happy with the scene here, and I got a nice call from Leon Paul afterwards. Coach Paul couldn't be here because he was at the state track meet, but he gave us a call and it was very complimentary about the process. So if you would like to join the Wall of Fame here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football,
We eat bagels.
we eat bagels.
When
Come
Yeah,
down so
I
we
was
can get
saying-
bagels.
I was going to say they had a good time. I had
a
a
good
great
time.
time.
Yeah.
Like I think we all had a great
Yeah.
time too.
Yeah.
It's a lot
it
of
was
fun
good.
for us.
It was a cool event, and we should do more of them. I don't want to like put a limit on how many we could
Yeah.
do, but there are only like select spots available for this. We can't do one of these every day. So if you are interested, please hit me up.
Hey.
We'll start to put the details together and schedule a
Buddy,
time for you that
we
you
can
can
make
be
it
here.
We can make a commitment Wednesday.
Yeah,
Every Wednesday.
bagels.
It's got to be more than bagels, though, Pickle.
I'm just saying it's a positive.
don't say it out loud. You know,
Okay.
like I agree, that's the best part, but
It's fair.
it's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers. Let's roll on to our underclassmen of the week. Our underclassmen of the week going down to Houston to Spring Duquesne. He's a 2025 wide receiver Tanook Hines. Tanook Hines picked up an offer this week from Michigan and Alabama, which means he has 23 offers now. He's also got offers from in-state powers like Texas A&M and Houston, plus places like Arkansas, Penn State, and Miami. He was a superstar as a sophomore for Duquesne last year and only getting better. And yeah, you can see on the tape real quickly why like Michigan and Alabama are coming knocking on his door.
Yeah, like you love these tapes where you only have to watch one play.
Yeah.
And you can see that he has the separating speed, can get separation at the top of his routes, has that wiry, athletic frame that's only going to become more college ready as he matures over the course of the next 2 Texas high school football seasons. You can see them using him here in a multitude of different ways in the Duquesne offense. Not just a guy who can go up and get the ball, but they like to use him in the reverse game and get him the football underneath where he can use his tackle breaking ability, open field maneuverability, and speed to make big time plays. The 2025 wide receiver class is sick. I mean, I'm telling you, it is sick. We only get 50 4-star spots, really 45 because the top 5 are going to be 5 stars. So if you're a fan of DCTF and you've been following the way that we do recruiting, the top 5 guys in the state are 5 stars. The next 45 after them are 4 stars. The wide receiver class in 2025 already up to 10, 11,
Wow.
11 4 stars
Wow.
out of the 50 selections.
That's
right
crazy.
now.
That,
11.
We haven't even kicked off the 2023
Yeah.
season yet.
Yeah. So I mean, and those,
these guys haven't played a snap as a junior.
it's nuts. So that's over 1/5 of that class at wide receiver could be 4 stars. I mean, I don't envy myself for that class because there's going to be some guys who don't. I mean, there's got to be an offensive lineman that's a 4-star, right? Like we can't give all the spots to receivers.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know how. I'm excited and depressed all at the same time to try to have to sort through these guys. And what makes matters even tougher is how do you sort between, 15 guys at the position who's 1 through 15? How do you put those guys in order? I mean, they've all got huge offers and they're going to be national level names. I mean, it's just going to be tough.
Glad it's you and not us.
Yeah, really. Is it so? It's fair to say that right now, where you sit on May 17th, 2023, that the class of 2025 is going to be dictated by the wide receiver group.
Yeah, I think
defined by that.
Yeah, I think there's a strong chance. As a matter of fact, the number 1 player in the state is already DeCorian Moore. He's a wide receiver prospect. The number 5 player in the state right now, Andrew Marsh at Katy Jordan, in line to potentially be a 5-star prospect. It's just a very top-heavy class at the position. So stay tuned or come into Texas if you're an out-of-state program or in-state program looking for wide receiver talent because there's going to be 40 of these guys who can play at the P5 level.
Let's round it all out with our recruit of the week. And in honor of our birthday boyfriend, Gabe Brooks, let's talk about track. He loves track. So last year, in the 2022 state track meet, Ernest Campbell from Refugio won the 2A 100-meter dash, running a blazing 10.32 in the 100. 10.32 in the 100 as a sophomore. Shockingly fast. Greg Powers last week at the state track tournament, or state track meet, I should say, down in Austin, he ran a 10.22 and won gold. It was the fastest 100 at any level, any classification at the state track meet. He's fast. That is my official analysis.
Really fast. And he's got a lot of college attention coming his way as a result of that speed. He's got over 20 scholarship offers. Note, he also took home gold with a 20.92 200-meter time. The second fastest in the state, regardless of classification.
You say 20.92?
20.92, 200-meter.
So
he helped Refugio capture gold and the 4x100 as well. This dude
Lord.
is just
he's a monster.
Yeah,
That's
he is
crazy.
fast. Checks in at number 100 in our DCTF Rising class rankings in the class of 2024. Has offers from programs such as Baylor, TCU, Texas A&M, Florida State, Nebraska, Oregon, and Penn State. And he's already scheduled an official visit to head up to Nebraska. This is all right. There's some good offers on that list.
Mm-hmm.
This is the type of player Nebraska needs to change their program from being like what I would consider
applauding Big Ten offense.
Yeah, applauding Big Ten. I mean, let's just face the offense has been horrible. I can't even remember the last time the Nebraska offense. It's not
it was bad
been
under
good.
Scott Frost, for sure.
These are the type of guys Nebraska needs to even put that speed on the field at any position. And we saw it in the at the 2A level how much of a game changer he was when he touched the football.
Absolutely.
To have his speed on the field makes defenses respect anything that you can do vertically or spread out to the flats, right?
Yes.
Like this is the type of guy who can change a game in one play. So That's why Ernest Campbell's our recruit of the week. He runs 10.22. He's the fastest man in the state. I feel confident saying that. I'm not going to give that title to anybody else. I don't care about your 40 time.
No, he's the fastest guy in the state.
10.22. That's the fastest dude in the state.
Like, think about that. Like, think about.
Insane.
Okay, so we there was. I think Step put it out there and was tweeting about how like we were all marveling at that the District 11 6A 100 like in the district meet about how like a guy ran like a 10-7 and finished like eighth.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
like shocking, right? He beat all of them. Like Caden Durham from Duncanville, he ran
Fast.
faster than him, right?
Yep.
That fast guy that you're thinking about.
He ran
Ernest
faster.
Campbell ran faster than him. So, yes, he's the fastest guy in the state. He's the fastest man in Texas. That's like
And
hard stop.
And just the fact that he's playing,
Yeah.
they're a favorite.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
at that level, I
Oh,
think he's
certainly.
the type of guy who can provide that spark to lead you to
Let's just-
AT&T Stadium.
Let's just put it this way, okay? Last year we got one round. I think right now, sports gun to my head on May 17th, we'd get round 2 of Timpson versus Refugio. And you're talking about, in a semifinal, you're talking about Terry Bussey and Ernest Campbell, okay?
That is
Like-
heavyweight matchup,
Two-
regardless of
in
classification.
2A Division 1, you're talking about that type of superstar power.
What a depressing round 2 matchup in a lot of ways. It's an exciting round 2 matchup.
No,
but
no,
it's
semifinal.
No, it would be-
Oh,
it would
I
stay
thought you said round
semifinal.
two.
Semifinal. No,
I was
Yeah,
like,
it'd be
oh
the
man,
region-
what a
round
heart,
2 of the
what a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
no,
All
it
right,
would be.
semifinal. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Round 2, I'm depressed.
And let's see, I'm
over it.
thinking this
Yeah,
through.
because it
So
would
they're
be
gonna-
Region 3 versus Region 4.
It's going to be a Thursday, too.
Yep.
It's going to be
It
Thursday
always
because they have
is.
to play on Wednesday for the state championships. They play Wednesday night because 2A Division 1.
Big Thursday game.
So it's a
So
big
yeah,
Thursday game.
because like usually it's Thursday Shiner Refugio for the Region 3, and then state semifinal is Thursday. Same thing.
Let's see. And last year they played in Cyprus.
Yep.
Might have around and go down there. I'm sorry. That's must see TV. Anyway, that's Ernest Campbell from Refugio, and that's Greg Powers of Dave Campbell.
Equally as
Football.
fast.
Equally as fast.